Hello and welcome to Running Your Stories episode 12. We have a cracking episode for you here. We're talking with Sally Watts, who's going to share her story with you. And Sally is a very friendly, interesting person and a very interesting story. Sally reached the peak so far of her running story in the Great North Run just a few weeks ago. The Great North Run, for anybody that doesn't know, is one of the most popular half marathons in the UK, with around 57,000 people taking part. So without further ado, let's get into Sally's story. Thank you. Welcome, Sally Watts.
Hello.
Hi, and thanks for coming along to share your story.
Okay.
And very interested to have you on, because I have to say, and don't put any pressure on, but your husband Alan, who I know, is very, very proud of what you've just been doing at the Great North Run.
No pressure.
I don't know if he's told you.
No, he hasn't said much.
No. Yes, but yeah, when I spoke to him the other week, he had a big smile on his face.
Oh, bless him.
Very proud look. So
no pressure then.
Yes.
Better tell a good tale.
Yeah. So what we usually ask people to do is just kind of start the story of your journey into running.
Okay, so I haven't been running very long, about a year, maybe a little bit more. I started running, I did like a 0 to 5k thing.
Is that with Acre Street?
Yeah, at Greenhead Park, in Huddersfield. So, and I've tried to run several times before myself, and I've kind of done that thing where you go out and you run too much, too hard, too quick, and then you can't sustain it and you just collapse in a heap. And I've tried that numerous times, or I have tried it and I've kind of been not successful, but I've managed it for a little while and I've not stuck at it. So I did that about a year ago, and I once a week, and then I did in between myself, and then I've really just stuck at it, and then I joined the running club afterwards, and that really helped. So that was a year ago, and then I did the first 10k in February this year. Somebody just kind of said, I think you should go and do a 10k, and I was like, nah, it's not me. And actually it was all right. It's
quite daunting at first.
Yeah.
To increase the distance.
Yeah, and I think it was entering a race.
Yeah.
Because I'm really slow. Well, I'm a plodder. For me, it's not about how fast I can go. It's just about going out and doing it. I'm not bothered about speed. I'm not out to be fast. I just want to go and do it. So I did my first 10k, and then somebody said to me, I've got some links with a small charity in Sheffield, and somebody said, oh, they've got places to do the Great North Run, why don't you get one? And I was like, I don't know, because at that time I was having some problems with my shoulder, and that was increasingly getting worse, and I was like, I don't know, and I was like, oh, I'm going to go for it. And I did, so I got a place to do the Great North Run, but then my shoulder got really bad, so that will have been in about March. Great North Run was in the September just gone, and from March until June my shoulder just got worse and worse and worse, and running became really, really painful, because of course as soon as you run, you're moving your arms, aren't you? To the point where I was still running, but running was almost, it was just excruciatingly painful. But anything was painful. I couldn't do anything. Sleeping was painful. Just doing anything was painful. So, but I was determined I wasn't going to stop, because I didn't want to give up, because I got that momentum, and I thought, I've been doing it a year now. I don't want to stop. I don't want to give it up. And it was doing me so much good mentally, physically. It was doing me so much good. I really didn't want to stop. So, I was determined I wasn't going to. And just before spring bank holiday in May, this consultant decided that I needed surgery, and I had that operation at the start of June. So I was like, oh, it's not long till the Great North Run. It's really not long till the Great North Run. And I was really struggling to do any sort of running, and I knew that I really needed to be increasing my mileage if I was going to go from, because at that point I could run 10k, but I hadn't gone any further. And I was struggling to keep my mileage at that level. So I had my surgery, and I was like, only thing I was bothered about when I went to see the consultant the day of the surgery was how quickly am I going to be able to run. And he went, at least 4 weeks. Try it 3.5. So as soon as I'd had my surgery, came round, a few days later, I was fine, up and about, walking. And then I just spent the first 3 or 4 weeks walking, because that's all I could do, couldn't drive. So nothing else to do, so just out walking the dog. And I think that really helped keep my fitness up. But then I, as soon as I could, at 3.5 weeks, I tried to do a little run. And it was hard going, but and then from there on, I just built it back up, and then there we go, I did it.
Very good.
But I haven't got a cruciate ligament in my right knee either. So and it's all the right side of my body. So the running for me has been a bit of a, I wasn't ever sure that I was going to be able to run, because I know when I injured my knee, which was 18 months before I started running, I think they thought I would never be able to run because I haven't got that cruciate ligament in my knee. But I've really had to work on getting the strength around that knee joint. But you know what, it's been absolutely fine. It's just been keeping that strength there, keeping it going. As long as I keep my knee strong, touch wood, it's been fine.
Yeah. So what do you do to keep your knee strong?
It's been really about just making sure that now I've got to the point where I can run, making sure that I stretch it properly, making sure that if it does, so it does sometimes twinge, that I rest it, and that I'm making sure I'm warming up properly and cooling down, and then stretching it. And if it does flare up, that I do make sure that I ice it and that sort of thing. I just need to look after it.
Yeah, because I had somebody else talking about it, I think when it was a few days ago, a week ago, again trying to tell me that running's bad for your knees, and just it gets to the stage when you have to start laughing at people that running's bad for your knees if you don't take care of yourself.
Yeah, you've got to just look after them.
As you say, the warm-ups, the stretching afterwards, if things start to hurt, icing them. Ice became my best friend earlier this year as I broke myself.
Whacking your spine with.
Yes. Spent so much time with my feet in buckets of ice water and things like that. But and when I think that, again, like you say, with the rest, each time something hurts and then you recover properly from it comes back stronger every time.
And I haven't hesitated to go to the physio either. Yeah. So if it does, if my knee does start to twinge, and it will sometimes get a bit swollen, I don't hesitate. If I think, if I don't feel like I can get a grip of it, I won't hesitate to go back to the physio. Yeah. And they will suggest something else, or things like squats and things are really good for keeping the strength in my knee. And people think that, and lots of people say to me, you shouldn't run, it's not good for your knees.
But running doesn't. Your body's made to run. And
as long as you look after it,
exactly that. You've got to listen to your body. And look after things. And actually, you'll just keep getting stronger.
Absolutely.
And I would expect you'll have less problems in the future.
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, I think when I did the knee injury, they didn't replace didn't repair the cruciate ligament, but they did do some cartilage repair. So it'll be interesting to see as time goes on what happens to that, and whether it needs, whether it starts to get any arthritis in that knee joint or not. But that could happen regardless anyway. Yeah,
but again, things like arthritis, obviously, some people it's kind of hereditary. It's in your genes, and you're going to get it whatever. But how healthy you are really makes a big difference as to how quickly it comes on, how severe it gets, how much pain you get from it. So, as you say, if you keep running and being healthy, it's actually going to lessen.
And how generally active you are.
Exactly. So it sounds like to me like you're doing exactly the right things.
And I think that, just generally being as active as you can be in between is really important. I did feel it once when I'd finished the Great North Run, the next day when I I thought I'd be really, really stiff, and I wasn't. But the thing I do feel sometimes is that my knee is a bit wobbly, and it's that when you've done a lot, that's when it feels a bit loose, but then it soon sort of gets itself back, and it's just because the muscles are tired, and it can't hold that joint in as strong as it normally can. But other than that, it's
I remember I did the Great North Run, I don't know, it's about 2002, 2001, something like that, because I'm in my second phase of life.
Yes, yeah.
So around that time, I did 3 half marathons, the Leeds and Fleet and the Great North Run. I was in agony after the Great North Run. Everything swollen up, and the reason was, and the reason I fell out with running at the time was that I never used to train. I certainly didn't used to train properly. I would just kind of go for random runs when I felt like it. I mean, I was in the TA at the time, so I did used to run around the countryside with a backpack and a rifle and things like that. But so I was generally fit, but never used to stretch properly, never used to warm up properly. I just used to rock up to things and run as hard as I could.
Thinking, I've got youth on my side.
And then wonder why it hurts. You know? And it got to the point where it hurt so much, it put me off, and I stopped running. And didn't get back to it until a couple of years ago. So as you say, it's just, and it doesn't mean that you have to go really over the top with all the warm-ups and stretching, because similar to yourself, after I hurt myself in the spine race, I spent a lot of time with physios, and what I found is that kind of in the short few 3-4 months after that, I had to do quite extensive exercises on a pretty much a daily basis, 5-6 times a week, half an hour to an hour of doing exercises to strengthen.
It kind of takes over your life with the amount of exercises you need to do.
But now I've got it down to like a 5-minute routine before I run, and once a week a half hour to an hour, and that's on a rest day when I'll be, because I keep forcing myself to rest, and sometimes you're twitching like, I feel like going for a run, but I know I should be resting. So it's ideal to spend an hour going through the physio exercises,
because you're doing something physical, but you're not.
So and then you feel so much better, and I know I always run faster after I've had a good set of. I mean, again, like for me, it's a lot about tightness in my calves and things like that. So rollering them and doing the exercises, and then I feel more relaxed and run much freer afterwards. So there's a lot to be said for it. It's I don't think people appreciate sometimes how important that is as part of your kind of regime, really. I did hear an interesting idea. I think it was episode 9 where I had Carl Howells on. I don't know if you've listened to that.
No.
Well, Carl has just done Spartathlon for the second time, which is one of the toughest races in the world, and he doesn't believe in stretching.
Oh wow!
But to be fair to him, what he says is that he thinks there's 2 ways of doing it. One is you stretch all the time, and the other is you never stretch.
Right.
Now he's one of the lucky ones.
He just obviously doesn't need to.
He's just he just runs every day, and he's like he's just done Spartathlon for the second time, and he beat his previous time on it.
Wow.
Lucky guy.
Some people can just.
That's right. Some people can do that.
But some people just seem to be built for it, don't they? And I think other people just have to kind of work at it more. And it's just different people are built for different things, aren't they? And and I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm not naturally built to be a runner, but I really enjoy doing it. And it's the thing that for me, it's the thing that gives me that headspace to clear my head, and it's the thing that I do for me, because everything else that I do revolves around the kids, the family, the house, the whatever, or work, and it's really important that you have something in life that's around for you.
I've found that a lot, and I think it's something you hear some very grand stories about how much it's helped people mentally once they've got into running. I've done a lot of different things over the years, and I do find that running helps me more than anything else. So I've done rock climbing where I was continually pushing myself out of my comfort zone, And the nice thing about that is you get absolutely in the moment, because you have to be.
Yeah.
And so you can switch off from everything else. But the downside of it was I was still then ended up introducing a new additional stress.
Yeah.
So so the balance, it could go either side of the line. And again, I mean, I see some people with running where they get really competitive. And
then that could be an additional stress. Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why for myself I kind of realised that running fast hurts.
Yeah.
So I don't like pushing myself to run fast very often.
Yeah.
Still try to do some level of speed work once a week. Now if I do a park run, that counts as speed work. Yeah. I'll just thrash myself around 5k, but I do a nice gentle run down the hill,
and then back
up. 4k down.
Yeah.
Thrash around park run, 4k back up, and that actually helps my body recover a lot. But I decided to start pushing the distance rather than the speed, and ran the Hardmoor 60 a few weeks ago. My legs felt fine afterwards. And then I did a half marathon, the Home Valley half marathon last Saturday.
And that was really hilly, wasn't it?
And I ran that as fast as I could. And I'm not used to running hills that fast.
Yeah.
Really pushed myself, and I did very well. I think I was 4th overall, 3rd male and 1st in my age category.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Which is brilliant. But it hurt.
Yeah.
It hurt more than running 60 miles.
And it's about,
do that half
but
marathon.
it's about whether you want to go out and suffer that, or whether you want to go out and enjoy it. And for me, you know, I'm not, as I said, it's not about time, it's about I want to go out and enjoy what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And like, I really, really enjoyed the Great North Run, really enjoyed it. And it's just about going out, doing something that I really enjoy with people I enjoy doing it with. But for some people, it's absolutely about the time.
Yes. Yeah. Just when you mentioned there about enjoying the Great North Run, it is a fabulous experience.
It is. I mean, it was absolutely... There was just people everywhere, and you couldn't move for people, and that was slightly frustrating because I'm like, and there was lots of people walking, and you're like you can't get around people because they're walking, and I think lots of people probably just decide they're going to walk that event, and you have to spend lots of energy, I think, bobbing and weaving, trying to get around people to start with, or for quite a while actually. Because if you're in that back pen where I was, but it is very much around, I wanted to enjoy that rather than that kind of focus on I've got to get around in this sort of time frame and I'm going to thrash it, whatever.
Yeah, because I think when I started that race, it was my 3rd half marathon, and I was thinking, I'm going to go for a time.
Yeah.
But thankfully, I've quickly cottoned on to the fact there's just too many people. And you should just enjoy it.
It's not,
because things, I don't know if the Red Arrows still do that.
Yeah, they do,
I mean, that's
amazing, yeah.
I was on the Tyne Bridge when they came over, which is just phenomenal.
They still do that.
And then there's loads of bands
that's
playing music. And
that still happens.
So many people out cheering on the race, and it's it is a very enjoyable event.
It is. Yes, and there's just an amazing group of people do it as well. You get some real, people who've run massive range of races and have been running for years and years and years, and people who've probably never run anything.
Yes.
And they're doing it, probably hardly having trained anything either.
Yeah.
You get that.
My mother ran it the day I did it.
Right. Wow.
She'd never run anywhere near that distance. She was in agony at the end because she's. I guess that's where I get my stubbornness from, and she was going to go as fast as she could until she met a group of firemen.
Oh, and then that spurred her on.
And then she hung out with the group of firemen till the end.
Spurred her on. But it's nice to do big organised. That was a massive organised event. But I've done some smaller things as well, and they're nice as well.
They are, yeah.
Yeah, to do smaller, obviously small like 10k events that. I think they're nice as well. So I don't know whether, I don't know what my preference would be, but it is nice to do those small, low-key type events as well.
Yes, yeah. I agree. I think one of the reasons I tend not to do many 10Ks because
Well, you're on the big distance, aren't you now?
Yeah, but I sort of put pressure on myself to run too fast, and then you don't have time to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And that's actually the reason why I don't do many 10Ks. I regularly do 10K training runs.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I'm not pushing myself to run fast.
And you're out by yourself, aren't you?
And I go out and enjoy the countryside. And,
yeah.
And in fact, I had a fabulous experience last Sunday. I'd gone out because I'd done the half marathon on Saturday. I went out and did that distance again on Sunday because that's a kind of good training weekend. And I had to duck under some trees on this path, and as I came out the other side, there was an owl flying straight towards me. The little white barn owl. It was just absolutely.
Was that near here?
Yeah. It was just. I'd gone kind of round the back of Outlane, and I was heading down towards the head of Scamondon Dams, to drop down into that valley. And there's this just kind of weird, hard to follow little set of paths there. And I was just on one of those paths and kind of popped up out of some trees to go into a field, and there's this owl flying.
We don't realise how lucky we are though, because like you here and where we live, you're straight out onto paths.
Yes.
You're straight out onto trail, aren't you? And so we're so accessible to trail that we don't have to run on pavement.
No, that's right. I tend to hit a bit more pavement when it's dark and it's wet.
Well, yeah, of course.
And then it's a bit more on pavement. Other than that, I try and stay on the trail all the time if I can.
But you probably don't mind running on trail in the dark.
No.
Whereas I wouldn't run on the trail in the dark.
I quite enjoy it.
Yeah.
But it's just, once you start running on the trail in the dark, it just takes that more preparation before you go out.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, again, one of my friends posted on Facebook that she'd been out for a run on trail in the Lake District on, in fact, it was probably yesterday, probably last night, and she'd ended up setting off later than she wanted, because you do, just getting your things ready.
Getting organised,
you're always a bit late. So then it was dark earlier. She had a head torch with her, but then a head torch kept cutting out. So again, if you know you're going to be out in the dark, you might carry 2 head torches, and that's even more to prepare and carry and then you're thinking about, well, I better carry a jacket and better carry some emergency things just in case. So it is. So if I'm short of time, I'll just put the road shoes on and off you go. A high vis vest and off you go. Because it's just quicker, and it's about getting the runs in sometimes.
Yeah, and the time it takes to get, when we've got busy lives, and that's the thing about me and how long it takes me to run, and that's the only thing. I'm not desperate to get to run fast, but I do want to increase my speed a bit because of the amount of time it takes me to run anywhere. Because I'm slow, if I want to run anywhere, it takes me ages. So though I'm not desperate to get faster, because I want to necessarily run a race faster, I do want to work on speed a little bit, just so that it doesn't take me as long to when I'm out running.
I can definitely relate to that. In particular, when I was building up to the Spine race, because it was such a big step up for me. I thought, right, this is a 60-hour cut-off time. My original plan was to run it in 55 hours, just so I had some buffer there. But as soon as I got fit enough to go faster than that, I started planning faster. Not to try and, because I was going to be nowhere near winning it or anything like that, just that that's a lot of extra time out in miserable weather.
But it's all that time it takes to do the training and away from your family and all that sort of stuff. When you've got all that other things that need doing, and they need taking place.
Like this weekend, I really need to do somewhere in the region of a 30-mile training run, which I would like to just take 6 hours over.
How long would it take? How long will that take?
Well, I can do that distance in 5 hours, so 5 hours 10 minutes. So but that's pushing it if you're racing it. But so I'd like to take 5.5 to 6 hours over it. But then tomorrow, my eldest son, he's got a football match in the middle of the day. So do I get up at 6 I'll have to probably get up at 5:30 in the morning so I can set off at 6 to get it in before his match. And then the only problem then is I'm feeling the pressure of finishing in time to see his match, or do I go out in the afternoon, then I'm going to be finishing in the dark. And it's like you say, it's difficult fitting these things in around family. At the moment, the plan is I'm going to get up early and try and
get up and go.
Because actually I'm going to run the White Rose Ultra loop.
Yeah. When is the actual race?
3rd of November.
Right. Okay.
So the plans to run one loop tomorrow, but I can actually cut the loop short because he's playing at Celandine Nook.
Right. So.
Or Hoods New College on the fields there, so I can actually cut the loop short and just run straight to the pitch.
Yeah.
And then
you'll be an attractive sight when you get there.
Yeah. So I think that's the plan. But like you say, it's difficult fitting these things in.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just juggling all those different things, isn't it?
Yeah.
And all those different things you've got going on in your life,
But then. The way I've always sort of, because I've always kind of done some kind of outdoors thing for myself, like you say, because you need to do something for yourself, and it's a compromise about time away from the kids and family. And the way I've always looked at it is that when you take that time away to really be better yourself, which means you're setting a better example for the kids of how to live and to look after themselves, and you're in a better frame of mind and happier. And
absolutely,
so,
absolutely.
It's at times you feel selfish, but I find now, especially since I've started running, it actually means that I then have more quality time.
Yeah.
Maybe smaller in quantity, shorter.
But actually, the time you had that when you'd have been out running, you probably wouldn't have been necessarily doing this stuff with them.
No.
They'll have been off doing their own thing.
Exactly. I'd have been doing more DIY around the house and things like that, and then you start cursing because it doesn't go right. And and that's not.
No. It's just managing all those other things, isn't it? And work and everything else on top. But it all works out. But you're absolutely right. You need to do something. You need to do stuff for yourself. But yeah, I've always been quite active and done things in the outdoors. So it's not being outside is really, really important for us as a family. But I haven't managed to get the children into running, and definitely haven't managed to get Alan into running.
No, he doesn't seem very keen on it.
No. I've mentioned it a couple of times. I kind of said, "Why did you come to parkrun?" And he's like, I suggested he could take the dog, and that's his thing. But quite happy to walk the dog for miles and miles and miles. But no.
Yeah, like you say that. I've kind of always considered myself as a walker, even once I got into rock climbing.
Yeah.
Because I just saw it as if you want to really walk and then do more interesting walks, you end up going higher and higher.
Yeah.
And so eventually, you've got to have some level of
fitness,
climbing skills and rope skills to be safe.
Yeah, you have.
Once you get into
Yeah.
So that's why I got into rock climbing.
Yeah.
So I always saw myself as, well, actually, I'm only rock climbing to practice for mountaineering, which is just an extension of walking.
Yeah.
And now I still kind of just see myself as being a really fast walker.
Alan can walk faster than I can.
It's nobody important.
You see, like Alan can walk faster than I can run.
Yeah.
Which is really depressing.
Well, it again, actually, I mean, just coming back to Carl, who's, like I say, an amazing ultra runner, and he doesn't run up hills.
No, but lots of ultra runners. Ultra running is very much around that combination of walking and fast walking and running.
Yeah, what he does say is he walks up a hill faster than most people run up it.
Yeah.
So he doesn't slow down. Yeah. He just finds it more efficient to walk on the uphills. But you can see, and lots of people.
When I was running around parkrun last weekend. I was running around parkrun, and there was a lady who was running and walking, and she went across the line just in front of me, and she was running and walking, and she was as fast as I was, and quite annoyingly, every time she stopped to walk and I caught up with her, she started running again. But it can be as efficient.
Yeah, it can be. One of the things I find difficult about it, which is the reason why I'll probably more often than would be ideal carry on running, is that the transition between the two is it seems to take more mentally than physically. A big, really big push
to get running again.
Yeah.
To
get,
that's psychological though, isn't it, rather than physiological? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And so if I look ahead and I say, oh, that hill's just like a little bump, I'll just run up it, because then I don't have to go through that psychological step.
Yeah.
The one thing I have found that helps is if I'm using my trekking poles.
Yeah.
And so when I switch between the running and then walking up the hill with poles, I find it much easier to transition back to running.
I think that must be something to do with the arm movement.
I think so, yeah. It just seems less of a sort of jerk, and
because it's keeping his arms moving, isn't it?
Yeah. Because again, lots of people. There's still lots of people in this country say, you should never use trekking poles on a run. Why not?
Why not?
It's absolutely.
There's quite a few people though that still don't use trekking poles for walking.
Yeah.
And I don't get that.
No, I mean, I tend to only use them on longer or much steeper runs. And it's simply because when I'm running on ground that's a kind of faster ground for me, easier trails or flatter ground, which means I'm going reasonably fast. I find it more efficient to not use the poles, which means I'm carrying them, which seems a bit of a waste of energy to carry them if you're not using them. Now, partly that's just me not being good enough at using them on that kind of ground. It's kind of still practicing with that, but because on the Hardmoors race I'd started off with the poles because it was hilly at the start and found them really, really good, and then one of them snapped. So I stopped using them and just passed them to Val to put in the car, and I didn't really miss them. So I'm kind of at that stage now where I can use them or not use them, but I definitely felt faster on the hills with the poles. And I'd probably have finished faster if the pole hadn't snapped. I still need to talk to my friend who I'd lent the pole to when we were in the Alps, because his poles fell apart. It was strange. When the poles got cold, he had aluminium poles, and the handles just came out of them because one part must have shrunk more than the other part, and it just came apart. So he borrowed one of my poles, and I think he stressed it a bit much because it's ever since snapped.
Nothing to do with you being over aggressive with it when you're running. No.
Can't be anything to do with me. Otherwise, both would have snapped, obviously. You're
gonna have to treat yourself to a new one.
Yes, I'm buying lots of new kits at the moment.
Is that in preparation because you're doing the spine race again, aren't you?
I'm trying to take at least 3 kilograms of weight off what I had last year.
So this sport of running that's supposed to be cheap, is it?
No, it's not cheap. No, don't mention how many pairs of shoes I have. I've just ordered some more. I've just, because I have quite square feet. Go like around the little toe. Really quite square, and most shoes are really quite tapered.
Yeah, they are.
And so my little toes hit the front of the shoes. I'm wearing shoes that are way too big for me to try and give them room. And on long runs, I'm still ending up with blisters underneath the toenail. That hurts.
Yeah, it does.
Hurts a lot. But there's a brand, Ultra.
I've not heard of those. I kept hearing you talk about that on some of your other blogs, but I've not heard.
So I've got one Ultra pair that I've been sort of trying out, because the shape, the toe box shape is brilliant for me.
Are they quite square then in the toe box?
But there's no heel on them at all.
Are they very flat?
Zero drop.
Are they almost like fell shoes?
Even flatter than fell shoes.
Right.
Because even fell shoes still usually have
a bit of
4 or 6 mil drop on them. These have got 0 drop.
Like a gym plimsolls.
Well, it feels like putting slippers on, because slippers are really, really flat. So I did 3 runs in them last week, 40k. And I've got used to the 0 drop in a week.
Wow.
So,
do you think it's altered your gait?
Yeah, it does. Because I've felt it a bit in the ankles as I've started using them. But because those ones, to try them, knowing that I had to run about 40k to know whether I really wanted them or not.
You have to buy them, don't you, to try?
You have to buy them, so I bought a cheap pair off the internet, and they're slightly too big for me because I bought them off the internet without going and trying them on.
Yeah.
But now that I know they are working for me, I've been and bought, because they're an equivalent of a fell shoe, that particular, just because I could get those, it was like 40% off.
Cheaper.
They were cheap for what they are. They will work great for me in the winter once I start wearing waterproof socks to run off-road in the winter. They'll actually be exactly the right size. But I've been into a shop earlier in the week in Sheffield, Accelerate.
Where's that in Sheffield?
Is it a running shop?
Where the sat-nav told me. It's not me. I just followed the sat-nav. It's a fantastic shop though.
Is it a running shop?
Yes.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of money.
You won't be going there again?
No, but I was able to try on, because it's actually like a half size. The 11's too small, the 12's too
you can't
big.
get in shoes
is just right. And it just felt perfect as soon as I put them on. And these are like a long distance trail shoe, which is exactly what I would need. Yeah, but they had a pair in the shop I could try on, but they'd already sold them. They were behind the counter.
Right.
So they've ordered me some. They're coming next week.
I bet you can't wait to go get them.
Yeah, I wish I had them for this long run tomorrow. But yeah.
I bet you were like a kid in a sweet shop. Like, I bet you just looked at everything.
Yes.
Is it a specialist? So is it a specialist running shop?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's.
What's it called?
Accelerate.
Accelerate. I'm going to go look that up when I get home.
Yeah, because the up and running shops are really good. I like up and running.
Yeah, but they're not.
They're
quite a generalist running shop, aren't they?
Well, I mean, up and running in Huddersfield doesn't have a massive range of stuff. It's a really good shop. I mean, James,
it's a really good shop.
Lovely guy.
Yeah, really good shop.
I like doing their social run
on a Wednesday.
Yeah. It's once or twice a month I make it down there.
I've never made it. It's too early. I don't get home from working time.
Yeah, but it's a good group that go there. And then up and running in Oldham's actually a franchise, so they have a bigger range of stuff.
Oh right, okay.
Up and running in Leeds, again, just with being Leeds, it's a bigger shop. They have more stuff in as well. So I like all three of those shops, that's our local shops.
That's it, isn't it?
Well, there's Mountain Feet in Marsden. With Cy Taylor, who's a real expert.
Is that down the little back street?
Yes. Cy's really good, but he's only open when he feels like it. It's a bit of a problem. It's the first time I've been to Accelerate in Sheffield. Really good. Yeah, really
you will have to be going over there too often.
No, it's very expensive with all the... Because it's just things like Injinji socks, toe socks.
Yeah.
They've got a whole range of them. So you can actually, because I've only ever bought them online because the shops around here don't have them in. And they talk about these different thicknesses and weights, and it doesn't mean anything when you read it online.
But you can look and feel and see.
And say, oh, right, that's what that means. Right, I'll have a pair of them now that I know what they're like.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's great though to be able to go and look and see, and just rather than, because internet's great, isn't it? We use the internet for everything, but you just need to be able to go and look and see and feel and try on and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and there is this kind of principle, especially with shops like these kind of specialist running shops. I would like to support the shops.
You want to be able to support them.
Something's just slightly cheaper online. I'd rather go and buy it from the shop and support the shop.
Yeah.
But when we've got to drive for an hour to get to the shop,
it makes it a bit of a challenge.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was going down to Cambridge on business, so
you
called into Sheffield and out again. Yeah, I was only 5 minutes late for my meeting.
Even though you've been in the shop for a while trying shoes on.
Yeah. But
You'd think there'd been more though, because running's become really popular.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping. Yeah, we could do with something else in Huddersfield or Halifax, I think.
Yeah, because it has become really, really popular.
Yeah.
I don't know where people get all their. I suppose people buy stuff online.
Yeah, I think a lot of people buy a lot of things online, but yeah, there's definitely a lot to be said for going into a shop like these running shops that we've been talking about, where you, and again, I guess people will buy things from like Sports Direct and places like that,
But the choice is rubbish.
and the staff
And don't have the knowledge.
well, they don't get paid enough to have the knowledge.
No, they don't.
To be fair to the
No,
staff.
the staff, no, they don't. They're not given the knowledge, are they?
No, that's right.
Whereas if you go into a very specialist, it's a bit like if you want, if you're looking for walking gear or mountaineering gear, you go to a specialist. So you'll go to the Lake District, won't you, and go into one of the specialist shops. Usually, if you're looking for something like that.
Back Outdoors is probably the best one.
Yeah.
Locally again, but again,
it's not great. No,
it's just a very small shop, and they kind of focus a fair bit on the ski and stuff.
Yeah.
Which I'm not really into.
No.
I like it with a tiny bit I've done, but
I definitely won't be skiing with my bad knee.
yeah,
It won't hack that. Football or skiing definitely won't hack. Learning it can just manage. Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier that you did the Great North Run for a charity.
Yes.
Which charity was that?
Support Dogs. They're a really small charity based in Sheffield. They provide assistance dogs for people with epilepsy and autism and physical disabilities. So I've got a family connection with them because my brother has got uncontrolled epilepsy and had a seizure alert dog for a while. So the dogs they provide are amazing because the seizure alert dogs particularly can give people with epilepsy a 45-minute warning that they're going to have an epileptic seizure.
Wow.
I mean, it's stunning, that, isn't it?
Yeah,
Absolutely stunning. Yeah. So people whose epilepsy can't be controlled by medication can have the opportunity to have their, they can't prevent those seizures, but they can be alerted by the dog they're going to have a seizure, and then they can get in a safe place. So that is just, yeah. And my brother really we're a very outdoor family, so we were always brought up to be in the outdoors. We walked a lot. Our parents both climbed. They both were runners. They both still, my mum's and dad still walk a lot. So, he loves being in the outdoors, but it's not particularly safe for him. So that really gave him the opportunity to get out and about and be as independent as he could be. So I did it for them. So it's really, for me, it was a bit of a win-win.
Yes.
Gave me the opportunity to have a challenge and do something, but it was a good opportunity to raise funds for a charity that is really close to my heart. And because they're so small, I think they had 9 people running in the Great North Run, but they haven't got a massive presence like some of these big charities that have got like hundreds of places. Because I can remember when I'd finished, I went up on the coach with some other people from Acre Street, and someone said, "Oh, has your charity got a place in the event village?" I went, "No." I went, "There isn't anyone even here." And they went, "I can't believe you're running for them and they haven't got a tent in the event village." I went, "They haven't got money to do anything."
Exactly.
And actually, I'd rather they didn't waste their money on that.
Yes.
Because I want the money to go towards supporting people who need it, not on a tent in the event village.
Yeah.
Because they must cost thousands and it's not necessary. Would I do the Great North Run for charity again? I don't know. I didn't have to raise loads, and I raised, I think I had to raise £250 and I raised nearly £600. And because it was a charity that's really close to my heart, it's a bit like when you did the spine race. When it's something that's really close to your heart, it's quite easy to raise the money, isn't it?
Yes.
Because it's people. It's easy because it's close to your heart. People kind of.
I'll do it for that charity.
It's easier to raise that money, and people give that money easier rather than if you just kind of gone, "Oh yeah, I want a place, so I'll do it for that charity," and it means nothing.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure I've done it now. I don't know if I'd do it for charity again.
Yeah. Well, as you say, they sound like a fantastic charity.
Yeah, they are. They're amazing.
I remember reading about them when you were doing the race. And
yeah, they are amazing. Absolutely amazing. They're just really small, but they're and the local so they're based in Sheffield. So,
or similar to yourself, the times when I've raised money for charities, I also try to pick a charity where it's actually going to make a difference.
Yeah.
You know, the amount that I can raise, because it's only going to be at the most running up to £1,000 or something like that.
You've got to be realistic about what you.
And how much difference does that make to some charities? It makes nothing, very, very little difference. In other charities, it makes a massive difference.
And I always worry about how much of that money is going to the actual charity and how much is actually being spent on their overheads and how much is actually being spent on the place you're getting given and all of that sort of thing. And I think you've got to be really careful about all of that. So it's really important that you're picking something that the money's going to go and be used for something that's really beneficial.
I agree. Yeah, because I was obviously raising money for Home Valley Mountain Rescue Team, which Alan's in, and I am. And one of the interesting things that a lot of people don't realise is that the whole of mountain rescue, even at the very top level, is 100% voluntary.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no money. There's overheads in running teams, but the overheads are in having vehicles and buildings that are needed to be able to do the job.
And insurance and that sort of thing.
And it's things that you have to have to do the job that the charity's there to do. When it sounds, and they also raised money for Papyrus.
Yes,
which is
and that's close to your heart, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah,
which is kind of inspired because it wasn't a kid my son knew, but in his football team, and at the time he was 12 years old, the best mate of two of his teammates killed themselves.
That's so tragic at 12.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, and Papyrus are, I think, the only charity that focuses on under 18s. For that area. So that's kind of good on them. It's such a difficult topic to approach and to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely.
The fact is there's people willing to volunteer to help to deal with that. It's amazing.
Both really worthwhile charities, absolutely. And I think when you're doing something as big as the Spine Race, doing it for charity is just amazing.
So what's next for you then?
I don't know. I've got a few little things on. I'm doing York 10 mile next week, and a few 10Ks over the next couple of months just to keep me ticking over. But I haven't got anything big planned. I don't really know. Is the answer. I don't really know. I like doing trail things, so I might try and do a trail something, but I don't know what. But I think I need to do something to kind of just focus my attention. I'm 40 next year, so I feel like I might try and do something to be a bit of a challenge, but I don't know what that's going to be.
I turned 40 last year.
Yeah, well, it won't be the Spine Race.
Yeah, but just more to the point that
it's not as crazy as you.
It is the time in life when people look for that extra challenge.
Yeah, so I don't know what that will be. I keep saying, I could do this and I could do that, but I don't know what I'm going to do.
Well, in May there's an event, and it is an event, not a race, that I've signed up to that might be of interest. The Lakeland 3-day event.
Oh, I heard you talking about that. Yeah, that's. Tell me more about it.
So, like for you, they do 3 different routes each day. So for yourself, I would have. No, I don't want to put you down right now. I'd have thought you'd do what they call the cafe route. So
that sounds good.
Yeah. So
does it involve cafes?
Yes.
Oh, right,
so it's a half marathon distance.
Yeah.
But you've got the whole day to do it.
Yeah.
But it's in the lake, so you are going to be going up and down things. So it's a tough
route. Yeah.
Like a tough half marathon with a cafe in the middle of it.
Well, that sounds
and so the event itself, you turn up on the Friday night.
Yeah.
Camp where you park in a field basically.
Yeah.
And they have like a marquee kind of set up for registration and everything else. And then when you set off running in the morning, they give you a map with the checkpoints. So you've got to navigate yourself to the checkpoints. And then there's lots of people going. and then you leave a 60-litre dry bag,
Yeah.
and they move that to the next campsite.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
And then you get there, you unpack your dry bag, put your tent up.
When is it? In May?
It's the May bank holiday weekend.
Oh, you see, I like the sound of that. I used to.
It's really well organised.
I used to. We used to orienteer,
Mm-hmm.
so my navigation's okay. In fact, I think my navigation's better than Alan's. But don't tell him.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm going to be doing that again. Haven't done it this year. It's a great event. Really nice atmosphere.
Yeah.
Because it's set up as a challenge event,
Yeah.
not a race.
Yeah.
And so it's not like a race atmosphere.
It's just about everyone going in and doing their bit.
And people are doing the 3 different levels of routes.
Yeah.
So the people on the expert routes, they are real, top runners.
Yeah.
I'm scared to do the expert routes.
How far's that?
They're about, just about marathon distance each day, but they're really severe
Ups and downs. So which route are you doing?
So I was doing the Wainwrights this year, which was about 22 miles a day.
Right.
But over the 3 days, it was the most ascent I've ever done in 3 days.
Wow. Yeah.
It was about 7,000 metres of ascent.
How many Wainwrights did you cover?
Well, we went over 28 peaks.
Wow.
In 3
Whether
days.
they were all Wainwrights or not.
Yeah, I don't know whether they were all Wainwrights, but we went over 28 peaks. That's,
oh, well, I might look at that.
it's a really, like I said, really well organised. The organisers were a really good group, and it was very good because it's good actually having done it as well, because like on all the advertising basically says your 60-litre dry bag, kind of fill half of it with food because you need to make sure you can feed yourself. But actually they had loads of food on to buy.
Right.
And so I didn't eat very much of what was in that bag.
Because the other stuff was nice.
It was really good as well. I mean, it was. It'd be very easy to say it was like a burger van and a pizza van, but they were actually really good quality.
Nice food.
They weren't. It wasn't just like real rubbish stuff. It was really good stuff. So
did you come back with 30 litres of food?
Well, I know because like we ran all day Saturday, all day Sunday evening. I had 3 full meals to get me ready to run again on Monday.
You need to fuel yourself.
Oh, you do, yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah. No, I mean it was tough, but really enjoyable. Really, really enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went up with. In fact, you probably do you know Jim Harris?
No.
No. Okay. I thought you might. He lives around here. In fact, he lives almost on Acre Street. He's not in Acre Street, but. Went up with a couple of guys from the running club, and chill out at the tent. I mean, we got lucky this May bank holiday.
The weather was gorgeous. Yeah.
It was just a little bit too hot.
Too hot, and that's the thing, isn't it?
That's the only
it's
thing.
not always like that though in Springbank in the lakes.
But the year before, it had been snowing during that event.
Yeah, so you just don't know what you're going to get.
You got to be prepared, but it's great.
Oh,
that might be the kind of thing that
I might look into that.
You do have to be. I recommend that event to loads of people because it's so inclusive with it having the range.
Yeah.
You do have to be able to navigate.
Yeah.
And not difficult navigation. You just need to be able to say, okay, there's this point.
Yeah, and I've got to get from here to here.
I can follow these paths to get to it.
Yeah.
Just understand where you are on the path.
Yeah.
For me, difficult navigation is when you're going off paths.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, you need to do contour bearings and all that sort of stuff.
That's when navigation's getting hard. But
when it's just paths and line features, that's not difficult navigation.
But still, some people will struggle with that.
Well, they will if they can't navigate.
Yes.
If you can't navigate and you're suddenly given a map and you're like, then that's another challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, again, the map they give you for the event is one of the most fantastic maps I've ever seen. I'll dig it out for you afterwards. Because they had the whole 3-day event on one map. With like all the.
Who's it organised by?
Got to try and pronounce it correctly. Aurea events they're called.
Oh right, okay.
It's the people. I don't know if you've heard of the Dragon's Back.
I've only heard you talk about it.
Yeah, they do Cape Wrath Ultra. this is in some ways kind of like the lowest level event they do.
Yeah.
They're really used to looking after people at very, very serious events, very hardcore.
That means they'll look after you well.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
And the guys, they're all top runners.
Yeah.
Real top guys. So
that's probably because they've made their hobby their job.
exactly. Yeah.
What a fantastic great thing that is.
Yes. Well, the thing I would say, because it's very easy for people to say, "Oh, it's a great idea. I'm going to go and do that." It's very, very difficult.
Yeah.
I was helping out friend Howard with his first time of being a race director not so long ago. I just went to run it was a marathon, half marathon that he put on over in Whitworth, and I ran the marathon route to check that all the flags were still there, because he put all the flags out and somebody had moved some of them and pointed people the route off in the wrong direction and things like that, and I know how hard he worked for that. To put something like that, and it wasn't a massive event as it was events usually, they're pretty small in the first year. Mm-hmm. Most events are, start off quite small, and it went well. But yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah,
and he had Wayne helping him.
Yeah.
Sort of backing him up and showing him the ropes. So.
You wonder actually how many people can actually make that their career.
Yeah.
But there are some people that is what they can do, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't give up your day job just yet.
No, not yet.
No.
That's why he was late back.
So yeah, maybe I'll have a look at that when I get back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll wish he'd not let me out. That's why he was late back.
Well, I don't know whether I should tell you what he said to me the other night.
What did he say?
He said, try to think, exactly how did he phrase it? I won't get it phrased exactly right, but it was along the lines of, I hear you've got something going on with my missus on Saturday. You can have her for as long as you want.
He was late back.
That's about right for Al. Yeah. That sounds about right. And then he was late back. I forgot you were going out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's about right. Yeah. He doesn't think before he speaks. He just comes out.
No.
Yeah. Thanks, Al.
Good bloke. Yeah. So, I guess one of the places that we'll like to kind of finish off discussing to wrap up some of these chats is about what advice you'd give to somebody who's thinking it, because you've gone in quite a short space of time from 0 to 5k, 5k to 10k, 10k up to half marathon, and I think the important thing is that you're really enjoying your running, and it's not stopping there.
Yeah.
Because again, lots of people can do a 0 to half marathon and then stop.
Yeah.
So what advice would you have for people?
I think for me it's very much about believing you can do it, because I think that stops a lot of people. And there's a couple of people that I've run with recently at running on a Monday night who've kind of I can't do it, I don't think I'm ready, can I do a 10k? Of course you can do a 10k. If you want to do it, you can do it, and a lot of it's in here. So believe in yourself, because if you want to do it, you can do it. And I think it's about just having a go. And I believe everybody can run. If I can run, anyone can run. And it is absolutely about consistency, just getting up, getting out, having a go. And even the days when you think, I really can't bother today, the difference you feel when you've got up and gone out the door, and you get back and you think, you know what, actually I didn't want to go, but now I feel great. And there's some things have really helped me along the way. So I said at the start that I'd tried to run before. I think being in a running club's really helped me. I only go once a week and I can't go every week. It depends whether Alan's working away, it depends whether I get back from working time, but that's helped me. I think that sense of running with other people and not just being on my own all the time. I do run on my own a lot and I'm happy to run on my own, but I think running with other people's really helped. That sense of just chatting and a bit of moral support, and actually when you've not been, oh Sally, you all right, where have you been, is everything all right? And also going to park runs really helped. And I haven't been, when I first started going to park run, I went every week religiously.
Yes.
And I think that really helped me, and then that tailed off a bit. I think really when my shoulder was bad, I think I got sick of running the same route. But I've got my kind of parkrun mojo's come back a bit in the last few weeks, and it's back to I've really enjoyed and it's that sense of real community at parkrun, isn't it? And everybody's welcome, and it's a really good place for people to start, because you don't have to be able to run. You can walk it, you can run a bit, you can walk a bit, you can power walk it. So I think for me it's about getting out and doing it, and not worrying about what anyone else thinks, and not worrying about how fast or slow you are. Because there is this big fixation in running, isn't there, about how fast did you do it? How fast did you do it? And I know when at work I said to somebody after I'd done the Great North Run, and they went, "What was your time?" And I went, "Don't really matter what my time was, does it? Because I've done it. I've had a great time. I got round, and it really doesn't matter how quick, slow, or whatever. You're out there. You're doing it just like the next person. And also I think you get better value from money if you take more time over it and enjoy the scenery rather than." You're whipping around in 20 minutes. So, I think it is about believing you can do it, because your body can do much more than you believe you can.
Yeah. No, I very strongly agree with that. It's one of the things I've said lots of times. And I think you see, it's believing you can do it, and the great thing with running is that once you've done something and you kind of progress and it builds, you then get such a great sense of achievement.
Yes.
And for me it's real achievement, and I compare it sometimes to my son said to me one day he'd done something on the Xbox and said, "Are you proud of me?" And I said, "Well, I says, I'll be honest with you. I never want to tell my kids I'm not proud of them." I says, "But there's nothing to be proud of. It's only a computer game."
Yeah.
Says, when you're playing your football matches and when you achieve things at school, I'm proud of those.
Yeah.
The way you behave towards your brother and sister, I can be proud of that, but not a computer game.
Yeah.
And running is real life. The fact that you can get physically from A to B. That's real, and nobody can ever knock that, and nobody can ever take that away, because whatever you think about anything, it's physics. It's
absolutely.
It's really real, and I think that's one of the things that I find really satisfying about it. And as you say, the biggest thing is the belief. Again, because you were asking me before we started about why I started doing this sort of podcast. One of the things is that I keep trying to make sure I don't forget what it was like when I started running, which just over 2 years ago when I started running regularly again. And I remember how difficult it was to get around parkrun without walking. And I can still remember that. It's getting harder to remember already, but I can remember it being really difficult to get round without walking. And then I remember, once I could get round without walking, getting onto the second lap and thinking, I have to slow down. I can't keep going at the same pace.
Yeah.
And that's what I believed, and so that's what my body did, because that's what I believed. And I talked to actually an ex-work colleague who I bumped into at parkrun, and he's still way faster than me. I mean, he's like 18-minute parkruns, really fast guy. And the thing he said to us was, actually, you can do he was talking about like getting below 20 minutes on a parkrun. And this, I'd started off at 29:59, and he said it is all in your head to a certain level. Obviously, to push on to the next level, you need an amount of physical training, but the next step usually is a mental one before it's a physical one. And he said, as soon as you convince yourself that you can run flat out all the way around, you will, and then your time will start to drop. And what flat out is for one person, for another person,
absolutely,
but just flat out for around that route, and it's right, and I try to hold on to some of those kinds of things, and that's why I'm interested to talk to different people that are kind of going through the journey and keep
I can remember when I started my 0 to 5k, and I turned up that first week really nervous, didn't know anybody, and I can remember thinking, I can't run anywhere. I could walk for miles, but I'm thinking I can't run anywhere. And I can remember they had us doing a warm-up, and by the end of the warm-up I was thinking, oh, I can't, I've had enough, I need to go home. And then they had us like jogging for a minute, walking for whatever. And by the end of it I thought, you know what, actually I've managed to do that.
Yes.
And so, right, I can go home now, and twice this week I can do that same thing. And then the following week we did the same thing, and they extended it, and we did, I don't know, probably a minute and a half, and walked a minute or whatever. But gradually, and it is absolutely, it's your head.
Yeah.
I know there is a fitness element to it, isn't there, of course, but it's your head telling you that you can or can't do something.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you say, the fitness element kind of places you somewhere.
Yeah.
And then the next step is almost always mental.
Yeah.
And once you reach that next mental step, by that time your body's already ready to push on to the next step, but your mind isn't.
Yeah.
It's just keep pushing through those mental barriers.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, there's so many times I'm in races or runs, and I'm telling myself, oh yeah, you've got this feeling, you can slow down for a bit, just have a walk for a bit. And it's constant mental battle all the time, and it's the thing that I've now got, I'd say, just enough experience to know, especially like feeling tired. Feeling tired actually goes away if you keep running. It's a weird thing to get used to.
Yeah.
You can run through it.
Is that the lack of sleep, feeling tired? You know, when you've been, or the feeling absolutely shattered.
Yeah, both. Whichever. You can literally just run through it. Now you will pay for it later.
Yeah.
So it's not something you should do often.
No.
But you because it's, like you say, it's all such a mental game that when you start running long things, and you might have already felt it even at half marathon distance. You'll get to a particular hill or whatever, and you'll really feel it, and you get to the top of the hill, and it's just that slightly lower work rate, and you just relax a bit more, and suddenly you start feeling that you feel better than you did before the hill, and things just come in waves, and as you get a little bit more experienced, you start to recognise, okay, this is just a wave of bad feeling.
Yeah, a pass.
Just ignore whether I'm tired or not. The body's going to keep going.
Yeah.
It's going to pass. As I say, you've got to be careful, because you can be doing your body some harm through this.
It's only so long, I suppose, your body can
keep. That's where people start talking about having like air races, where 2-3 times a year you have the race that you've really aimed for, and you'll push yourself through anything during that race. But other races you treat more as a training event, and you won't push yourself through certain things because you don't want to hurt yourself and end up missing training from it. But
you definitely it is, it absolutely is. People just need to believe they can, and they then will, and if they can, if they believe they can, then the body will get them there. I'm absolutely convinced that. Absolutely convinced.
It's great to hear you saying that, because I'm already running too far and too fast for kind of new runners to believe me when I say it.
No.
You know what I mean?
And I absolutely believe. I think it's interesting that I believe that, because I actually struggle to get my speed up, and I think that's probably because I run at quite a comfortable speed.
Yes.
And so I'm like, that's really good. I feel really comfortable. I don't really want to push myself to run any faster. When I run with other people, I can run faster. Not massively faster, but I can run faster. But when I run on my own, it's like, that's really comfortable. So I don't want to move any faster. But
exactly. So it's
it's
mental.
It is. because I'm like in that, oh, that's just, I'm happy to go at this pace, it's comfortable.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, when I ran with the weight and off run, I ran faster, but it was comfortable,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed it, and I didn't feel, I wasn't uncomfortable. Afterwards I felt, yeah, great, good. So it wasn't, because it is in here, it is in your head.
Believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Sally says so.
Yeah, I say so.
Well, I think that's a great note to finish on.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been good. Thank
Believe in
you.
yourself.
absolutely.
Sally says so.
Yeah, I say so, must be true.
Yep.
Yeah.
There definitely is.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, it's been
Sally,
good, thank you.
Thank you, Sally, very much for that episode. That was episode 12. Thank you very much for listening. And please like us on Facebook, subscribe to the podcast on whichever podcast platform you use, through iTunes or through Google Podcasts. And look us up on YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can watch us on there as well as listen. Please follow us, like us, subscribe, and send in your messages, your questions. Thank you very much for the great feedback that we've been getting, and thank you for each and every subscription and like and shares on Facebook, recommendations to people. We really appreciate it. We will do our very best to answer each and every question that comes in. We really like getting the feedback. We'll love hearing what you think of the show. So please contact us. You can contact us through Running Your Stories on Facebook, runningyourstories@gmail.com. You can comment on Running Your Stories on YouTube, or on the Podbean site. We also get comments and follows on there. So thank you very much, everybody. Thanks for listening. That was episode 12 with Sally Watts. Don't forget what Sally said. Believe in yourself. You can do it. Thank you.